Ever seen a grown woman lose her mind faster than you can blink? Not just yelling, but a full-on meltdown, tears, accusations, the whole circus. That was my neighbor, Tracy Milber, the day she tried to get me hauled off in handcuffs, then froze solid when she saw who stepped out of that squad car. You want the story? Buckle up. My name's Walt Briggs, 48, ex-mechanical engineer, recently retired, meaning these days I answer to no one but my dog, my wallet, and, until recently, the iron grip of our HOA in Sunset Hills, Nevada. Quiet suburb, decent people, sunshine, and one of those homeowners associations that thinks it owns your soul if you're dumb enough to pay the monthly fee. $320 a month, so they could mow grass I never walked on, hold potlucks I never attended, and chase folks for putting up Halloween skeletons before October even started. For 8 years, I kept my head down, paid my dues, told myself it was just part of the deal if you want a peaceful life. But, man, I hit a wall. One afternoon, staring at the HOA newsletter's passive-aggressive reminders, I snapped. I cracked open the Nevada State Code, read it cover to cover, did my paperwork, and within 4 weeks I was out. No more HOA. I was a free man, or so I thought. Little did I know my escape was about to light a fuse under Tracy Milburn-Verhood, busybody, HOA president's wife, and self-appointed sheriff of Sunset Hills. Now, Tracy was a force of nature, you know? Clipboard always in hand, hair pulled tight, eyes scanning for any hint of rebellion. A mailbox painted the wrong color, a car tire 6 inches past the line, lawn ornaments that didn't match her vision of community standards. But up until I left the HOA, I was mostly background noise to her. That all changed the second she learned I'd slipped through her net. Barely 2 days after my paperwork cleared, Tracy stormed my driveway, waving a stack of printouts like she was serving a warrant. "You can't just leave." She should no greeting, just outrage. I try to keep it neighborly. "Actually, Tracy, the law says otherwise. I own my place, did the paperwork, end of story." She looked at me like I'd just confessed a murder. That's when I realized this wasn't about the rules. This was personal. See, Harold, her husband, the HOA president, had let it slip at a block party that their finances were tighter than a drum. Suddenly it made sense. My leaving wasn't just some neighborly insult. It was a threat to the HOA's bottom line, and probably their own pockets. From that day on, Tracy went from annoying to relentless. She started building a case against me, like she was prepping for trial, pictures of my car in the driveway, notes about my grass height, snide comments about Christmas lights overstaying their welcome. I told her, "Tracy, I'm not in your club anymore. This doesn't apply." She wasn't having it. "It's about the neighborhood, Walt. When you break the rules, everyone else thinks they can too." Things only escalated from there. One morning, I look outside, and there she is, tape measure in hand, calculating the distance from my trash bin to the curb, muttering section 15 point whatever into a little recorder like she's undercover for the FBI. It'd be hilarious if it wasn't happening to me. That's when I installed security cameras. Best $200 I ever spent. Within 2 days, I caught her strutting across my lawn in a neon vest she'd obviously made herself, pretending to be a city inspector. She went door to door, warning neighbors about code violations on my property. Carl next door watched the whole thing over his morning coffee. Kids rode by on bikes, nearly crashing from laughter. Ruth across the street called her out, "Show me your badge." Tracy fled, red-faced and muttering. I confronted her. "Tracy, impersonating a city official is a felony and you're on camera." She tried flipping it. "You're the criminal. Those cameras are illegal." It was like arguing with a tornado. But Tracy was just getting started. She started targeting my utilities. I came home one day, power's out. Turns out she'd called pretending to be my wife and told the electric company the house was vacant. I spent half the day getting it fixed. It was my gas. My mail started going missing. Every time I fixed one problem, another popped up. Ruth finally sat me down, real serious. "Walt, you're not the first. She did this to the Johnsons, they had to move. Don't let her win." That was my line in the sand. I started keeping records of everything: photos, emails, security footage, Ruth's testimony, even utility company logs. I reached out to Harold. He sounded exhausted. "Walt, I never signed a violation against you. Someone's forging my name." We both knew who. So I decided to turn the tables. Planted a giant for sale sign on my lawn, not because I was moving, but just to watch Tracy lose it. Sure enough, she called within an hour, using a fake name, but forgetting to block her number. I played along. Yeah, the neighborhood's got issue with this lady who pretends to be an inspector. You could hear the panic in her voice. Through my window, I watched her pacing outside in that ridiculous vest, phone glued to her ear. I walked out, called her bluff. Tracy, let's have a chat. She turned beet red, started shouting about entrapment and privacy, but I wasn't done. Her last stand was an emergency HOA meeting exclusive invitation list, but Ruth and I showed up anyway. Tracy strutted around like she was the prosecutor, waving doctored photos and fake violation reports, ranting about me turning Sunset Hills into a disaster zone. When she started talking about secret surveillance, I calmly opened my folder security footage, forged documents, Ruth's signed testimony, and all the forged utility records. Carl's jaw hit the floor. Ruth backed every word. Tracy started unraveling, shrieking about property values and danger, then called the police sliv in front of everyone. Dangerous neighbor. Help. She was so sure she had me. The room went dead quiet when the patrol car pulled up. Tracy raced outside like she'd just won the lottery. Officer, he's terrorizing us. Arrest him. I greeted the officer with a nod. Hey, Joel. How was your shift? See, that was my ace. My son Joel, in uniform. The look on Tracy's face worth every headache. She went chalk white, dropped her phone, sputtered about corruption, and demanded a supervisor. Harold looked like he'd rather vanish on the spot. Joel handled it by the book took statements, watched the footage, nodded to Ruth, and, when Tracy wouldn't stop, quietly arrested her for impersonating an official and filing false police reports. Word spread like wildfire. Tracy's meltdown hit every HOA Facebook group in town. Harold quit the next day. Carl wrote a public apology for believing her. Ruth became interim president first order of business, rewriting the rules so nobody could ever pull that nonsense again. And Harold? He finally admitted Tracy's motive money. They were broke, and she'd wanted my house for her brother, planning to flip it. Turns out she'd run the same playbook on families for years. 6 months later, we threw a block party. Joel showed up, this time in jeans and a t-shirt. The vibe was different. Folks were smiling again. Home values actually went up. And Tracy? Last I heard, she tried her luck in another HOA, but that was someone else's circus now. So here's the deal. Bullies thrive when no one stands up. But if you keep your cool, document everything, and trust the process, truth usually finds a way. Sometimes karma comes dressed as your own kid in a patrol uniform. If you're dealing with your own Tracy, stand tall. Would you have fought back? Where do you draw the line between protecting your home and being a good neighbor? And is it the system that's broken or just the people in it? Let me know in the comments. Your story might just help someone else keep their ground.